before the album's released, it's going to be it might be a little hard for you guys to shed some of those comparisons if you're looking to shed them at all. And then, once the record comes out for the first couple of weeks until you really start hitting the road and it's been out for a while, it's going to be something that you guys are going to have to deal with.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, we're already dealing with it. There's people that want to compare, but I'm just really confident in the album. Like, I think it stands, it'll stand on its own, so I'm really excited for people to hear it.
If the music's good, that's definitely gonna be what it's about.
Yep.
Cool.
Definitely.
Marty, I mean, like, what about the bass stuff and things like that? Are you doing a lot of challenging stuff on this record, or are you doing a lot of different stuff, or is it pretty standard?
It's there's not a lot of technical stuff on there, but even I'm surprised at some of the what's the word I'm looking for? It's just like there was a lot of room to breathe for the bass, and there's actually a little bit of melodic bass stuff in there, and whenever there was some area to breathe in, there's a little bit of bass work in there. Not a lot of technical stuff, but I think it's just I think bass players will enjoy it, actually.
So there's kind of a lot of freedom to what you're doing, and you're able to get a little bit more out of what you were playing.
Yeah, definitely. It was because I've toured with a lot of rock bands over the years, but in the last 5 years, I've mostly been doing session work where you kind of got to tame it down, because you don't want to be the guy he's been playing all over the place. So it's just cool to be able to really sit down and think about what I want to do, because most of those sessions I played on, you usually go in there and sometimes you hear that song for the first time and you just sit down and just kind of pluck along, your basic pop or rock song, But so this was a really cool opportunity for me to really put some thought into the bass line. So I'm really proud of the bass work on it. So.
And this kind of has to be a really exciting project for you, because it sounds like what you had kind of done before this was kind of you were a hired gun, so to speak. You're doing session work and playing with bands out on the road and stuff like that, to where you're playing music, but it's not 100% your music, and this is something you're really vested in. It's got to be cool for you.
Yeah, it's cool on so many different levels, because I've had a fantastic career. I get to travel, and I've played for all these different big rock bands as a hired guy. But there's always, and it's not about a money thing at all. It's just about having creative input and everything. And we're even designing our own T-shirts, and just everybody has their own little things that they do, and I do a little bit of graphic design here and there, and just everything from the music to even artistic type stuff with web stuff and the everything. The album cover, we all just really got in there with exactly how we wanted the album cover to be, and everything from the logo, everybody's all equal and everybody approves everything, and it's really great, because other artists I've toured for and stuff, you sit there and you're just the hired guy on the tour, and you see them kind of having creative input on everything from music to art and everything, and even though I've toured the world with all these bands, the ultimate goal was always to actually find a real home and be in a band. You know what I mean? Because it's not about that extra money or anything. It's about just being part of something and not just an employee of something. You know what I mean?
I gotcha. Is there so it sounds like there's also a lot of it's kind of a democratic band, so to speak. There's no band Nazi working here.
No, definitely not.
And that's got to make you guys feel good too.
Yeah, there's always that leadership type thing too. Ben Moody definitely has a great leadership quality to him that guides people in certain directions. But then there's even Carly will have more, she was, she had a real set vision on the album cover, and so she kind of was the stronghold in that department. Everybody has their, everybody gets their vote, but but people also kind of lead in different directions too. It's working out great so far. So.
We've talked about you. We've talked about Ben. We've talked about Carly. What about your drummer? Who's drumming for you guys?
It's Rocky Gray, and he was in Evanescence before, and I actually had not met Rocky or John until we put the band together, and but it just kind of clicked right away with those guys, which is cool because, like I said, I've been working with Ben for so long, and then it just feels like I've been in this band for years already, but it just clicked with Rocky and John right away, and yeah, he's a great drummer.
Well, and John plays guitar for you guys?
Yeah, John was also in Evanescence with Rocky, so I actually hadn't met them until that first day we got together and started working on stuff, but luckily it all worked out. We all get along great, and it's really cool.
Marty, this is kind of a weird thing to say, but over the years, I've probably done this since like '05, so not a real long time, but it seems like I always hear about somebody that was in Evanescence. How many members were in Evanescence? This is kind of a crazy question.
I'm not actually sure.
It seems like there was a ton who had played in that band at one point.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And I know after that first lineup, people started leaving and stuff like that, and then there were just kind of like, different members have been hired for touring and stuff like that. But I'm not sure. I'm the same as you. Even though I work with Ben a lot, I wasn't actually in Evanescence, so I still have that outsider perspective too.
You're like inside, but you're not on the real inside.
I was a fan of the band too, before this, so it definitely, I have a cool kind of outside perspective of the band, so it's cool.
Cool. All right, man. What have you guys been able to do as far as live shows? Have you been able to do a lot of that, or just a little bit?
We, when the band first got together, we wanted to debut the band in a kind of a big way, just basically let people know we were there. And in June of '09, last summer, we debuted the band at a big press conference in Hollywood, where we invited press down for interviews and stuff like that, and we played 2 songs, and it was just more like a press event. So we actually haven't played a full live show. So because we haven't actually played a show yet, we wanted to make that first show kind of more of a special event and not just, another show on the list of a big string of dates. So we're going on tour with the band Him. We start this big 7-week North American tour opening for Him, and that starts in a week and a half. But before we do that, we're flying to London to play kind of one special show in a club, just kind of make it a special event, and I'm sure some of the media out there will cover it as our first show ever. So it's kind of the big live debut. So we're kind of excited about that,
Cool. And when do you think the record's going to be out there?
Well, I'm hearing May 11th is the album release date, and I hope it's a worldwide, release, all in unison with everybody. I hope.
Cool.
I'll have to find out about that. Yeah, but technically the release date is May 11th.
Cool. All right, man. And what are your guys' websites and stuff?
Basically, it's We Are the Fallen at all the URLs. So there's wearethefallen.com, and then MySpace, Facebook, Twitter. It's all just, with the / We Are the Fallen.
This interview was brought to you by AlternativeAddiction.com. If you'd like to download a copy of this interview or find other interviews like it, head over to AlternativeAddiction.com /interviews.